From way out of left field, the Broncos, breaking news, have traded Devaughn Vele to the New Orleans Saints for a 2026 fourth-round pick and a 2027 seventh-round pick. Holy crap, Broncos country. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and I'm going to react to everything that we know so far about the Devaughn Vele trade. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions, and before we do that, this is why you hit that subscribe button. I'm going to cover you on every single piece of Denver Broncos news, every Denver Broncos rumor, every time there is breaking news, no matter what day it is, no matter what time it is, I've got you covered. So lock us in and hit that subscribe button for free Denver Broncos content all season long. Let's talk about it. Devaughn Vele has been traded to the New Orleans Saints. Blew up right there. And I got to talk about this because this is something that I don't think any Denver Broncos fan saw coming. At least I certainly didn't. Now, I did want to mention, at least somewhat briefly, that I did talk about this in a recent video. We'll touch on that soon, but let me hear your one-word reaction. Just let me know in the comment section down below. How you feeling? One word to describe exactly how you're feeling. And I'll be the first one to admit it. My one word, shocking. I didn't see it coming. I really didn't. But the more and more that I'm thinking about it, the more and more that I'm understanding that the Broncos absolutely fleeced the New Orleans Saints. And just a day or so ago, I said on the show, I don't know what his role is right now. It's probably wide receiver 5. Courtland Sutton's your 1. You've got a combination of Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims at that 2 and that 3. And then Pat Bryant has clearly emerged as a viable target and has grown significantly throughout training camp. So I just postured the question. I said, you tell me what Devaughn Vele's role is on this team. And I got backlash for it. I got people in the comments that were telling me, well, Moose, he's doing fine. I don't know why you're getting all worked up about this. You're crazy. No, I'm not. I'm calling the game like I see it. This is clearly because of the Franklin and Bryant emergence. After the Cardinals game, I had said, and I quote, tell me a player that has done a complete 180 on this Broncos team quite like Troy Franklin. You haven't. Tell me a player that stock is growing each and every day with this coaching staff and with the quarterbacks, like Pat Bryant. You can't, because those two players are clearly emerging as favorites in that Broncos wide receiver room. Devaughn Vele had barely been mentioned throughout training camp. I think we saw his name once or twice. Now, granted, he had a 70-yard bomb the other day in joint practice, and he got the game off. But against the San Francisco 49ers, he had 1 reception. And now I know why the Saints did this. Devaughn Vele has a ton of upside. I'm not sitting here saying Devaughn Vele sucks. That's not what I'm doing. I don't want you getting down in the comments saying, Vele, you're too harsh on him. That's not what this is about. The Broncos clearly had a surplus of wide receivers. And they sent this to the Saints because this was a deal they couldn't pass up. Vele has the opportunity now to start fresh in a brand new coaching system and be a viable target, like a wide receiver 3 on the New Orleans Saints. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Devaughn Vele needed to go. He didn't. He would have been a nice 4th or 5th option for this Denver Broncos team. But when I look at the players that have clearly stood out for the Broncos, Vele was not among them. So the power 4, which I also mentioned in a previous video, was Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant. Those are your main 4. Trent Sherfield and Devaughn Vele were up in the air. They could flip. Like you could see Vele at 5 or Sherfield at 6, but Sherfield played better in that first game than Devaughn Vele did. So when I asked that question, it wasn't out of like, oh my God, Devaughn Vele sucks. It was more so, where is he going to fit on this team? Here's what the full trade looks like. Ooh, it should be the other way around. Saints receive Devaughn Vele, and the Broncos receive a 2026 4th-round pick and a 2027 7th-round pick. So, the Broncos absolutely, in my opinion, fleeced the New Orleans Saints. Absolutely. If you get 2 picks, there we go. That looks gorgeous. Thank you, Producer Reed, on the 1s and 2s. If you get 2 picks for a guy who has upside, but was going to see a diminished role on this team, at least in my opinion, this is an absolute win for the Denver Broncos. Make no mistake about it. The Broncos absolutely won this trade. So I'll ask you, who won? Type DEN if you're Denver. Type NO for New Orleans. The Broncos won. Like 10 times out of 10, and I even said this to the Saints host who's currently doing his video right now. It is the Denver Broncos. 2 picks, especially a 4th-round pick, which is really, really nice. In this year's draft, and then next year, you get that 2027 7th. But 2 picks for a player who wasn't going to see a very, very high role, at least in my opinion, in this 2025 offense is an absolute home run for Sean Payton, George Payton, and the Denver Broncos. I just kind of want to keep reiterating to you about this trade because now the Broncos clearly are sending you a message. And the message is, we've got our 4. We've got the 4 guys. We've got Courtland Sutton. We've got Marvin Mims, Pat Bryant, and Troy Franklin. These are the guys. So we can go back and forth in the comment section about how much we liked Devaughn Vele. And listen, I liked him too. I had made a video earlier this summer talking about how I thought if he did certain things, he could end up seeing a significant increase in productivity with Bo Nix entering into year 2. There were articles written about him. But when you see the compensation that the Denver Broncos got, the offer was just way too good to pass up. And the Broncos got a steal. Extra draft capital. We're not giving up a player that was going to have as big of an impact as we originally thought. And the Broncos don't lose any talent. We're still loaded at that wide receiver position in terms of depth. So all of this is good news. I'm breathing a very good, heavy sigh of relief because we could have gotten like a 6th-round pick and that would have been it. And then I probably would have looked at it and went, what is the return worth what you sent out? And in this case, for what the Broncos got, absolutely. I do want to at least briefly touch and say thank you, Vele, for everything. I realize it was only 1 season. However, he still was a player that bought into the Sean Payton system. He was a player that everybody liked. Bo Nix started to really connect with him. He still had a pretty good season, 475 yards, 3 touchdowns, had 7 receptions of over 20 yards. So he definitely is a player that can make a difference for the New Orleans Saints. But for the Broncos, this is clearly a win. So I want everyone to just take a big sigh of relief, take a look at what the Broncos got in return, and feel justified knowing that George Payton and Sean Payton are doing the right things for this organization. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. I just want to get a very, very quick, instant reaction trade for you guys. But like the title suggests, the Broncos fleeced the New Orleans Saints. And Devaughn Vele, a mile-high salute to you, my friend. Thanks for everything. On to bigger and better things for you. And the Denver Broncos clearly stockpiling those draft picks for next year. That's going to do it for us. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, be cool.